and beckoned with Westlife. So they called it a day in 2012, and it was time to go full-time into presenting, first on radio with a successful 2FM show, and now as the new face of Saturday night's National Lottery's €1 Million Challenge on RT television. So would you please welcome Nicky Byrne.
I want it all. I want it all. I want it all. And I want it now. Good to see you. I want it all.
This looks great, by the way.
Yeah, you like the new place, do you?
Yeah, I want to know where the jellies are. Somebody said to ask.
Well, they're still here.
Am I the first to ask for the
You're
jellies on the new set?
Have one if you want.
Oh,
One.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the end of that. They travelled. I'm going to ask you loads of questions now that you're chewing a very fizzy Tang Fastic, so let's keep going. The lottery game, congratulations on that and getting that. And we can only presume and hope it's going to be, obviously, a thing of great beauty and brilliance. Did you ever win the lottery, or did you ever know somebody who won lottery money? Or
I think getting into Westlife was probably winning the lottery.
What's an element of that?
No, I never did, but my mum actually, when we were kids...
Did she?
Yeah, she won a couple of quid on a scratch card. I remember playing football out on the road in Seagrange. I mean, we got called in, myself and my sister.
When you say a couple of quid, £2 or €2?
Well, yeah, it was 19... I'm going to say 88 time, 89, maybe early, maybe 89.
Yeah.
And she called us all in, and she'd won 1,000 quid. Now, back then, you can imagine what 1,000 quid was, you know? So, I mean, even 1,000 quid now is huge, but back then it was enormous. So she won it. So
she won it, and in many ways, as you say, you kind of won the lotto yourself a bit with Westlife. We'll talk about that in a second. Yeah. We'll have a quick flavour of the show it's tomorrow night, the first one?
First one, 8:10.
Okay,
RT1 tomorrow.
Let's get a little flavour of it before we chat on.
Good evening and welcome to the €1 Million Challenge, RT's brand new game show in association with the National Lottery. The clock is ticking. We've less than 60 minutes to make one of our contestants a millionaire.
A lot of pyramids.
A lot of pyramids, yeah.
A lot of pyramids going on.
A lot of money too, a lot of money.
Shiny floors and pyramids, it's good.
Yeah. No, it's good. You know, it's a great set. It's a really kind of brand spanking new set, and to be on there and to be doing it, it's brilliant. For me, it's a dream come true, to be honest. When you
won your lotto by joining Westlife, did you go out and buy it with one of your first checks, like the big shiny car, and did you do all the stuff that you would expect someone to do after, you know, hitting the jackpot?
Yeah, no, I think we all did. I remember myself, Shane and Brian going into a Ferrari garage in Egham. I mean, all little boys love cars, and well, most of the boys love cars, and for me, it was Ferraris all the way. Yeah. So I remember, you know, first big check on one of the tours, we went out, and the three of us, I mean, we didn't even, you know, bargain with this guy. You know, it was the salesman must have had all his, you know, holidays coming once. We went in, and I got a red one, Shane got a black one, and Brian got a yellow one. The good old days, Brian.
Yeah, of course, yeah. You brought them back then to Ireland and drove around in your Ferrari.
We did. We got there was a McGuinness truck and used to do our tours. Good Irish trucking company. Yeah. And Frank McGuinness had agreed to ship the cars home for us. So we all turned up at some car park close to Dublin Airport, got into our cars, and one by one, vroom, vroom, vroom. It was proper. Yeah. Stupid pop star stuff that you'd never do again, but it was great fun.
Did you keep it? Did you still have it somewhere?
No, I don't have it now. No, I think I had it for about 3 or 4 years, and then when Georgina was pregnant with Rocco and Jay, I kind of went, I need to get a bit serious now and get a daddy car, and sold the Ferrari. And
did you try putting
sorriest thing ever did.
I was going to say, did you try putting a baby seat into the Ferrari just to see if it?
You can barely fit into a Ferrari yourself. Never mind a baby seat. Yeah, no, that was never going to happen.
Never going to happen. We've talked before on this show, and you've said that you kind of wouldn't mind doing maybe this job at some stage.
But this set, definitely. Look at this.
Yeah. It's a pleasure. Ideal guest-wise, who do you admire? Who would you like to talk to or interview?
I'm a big fan of, I mean, there's loads of people, but obviously football was a big thing in my life. So Roy Keane would be a big, you know, I've met him, but to be interviewing would be great. Bill Clinton is another one that,
one of mine too.
I've been lucky enough to meet Bill Clinton.
How was that for you?
It was great. It was a funny story about Bill actually. With me, you know, you get, seconds with these people, and his book has just come out.
Yes, My Life.
Yes, and I'd bought it, I opened it, and read the first chapter, and full intentions to finish it. But I'd read the first chapter, and I noticed that he'd lost his dad quite young, and in a car crash, I think, and I don't think he got to know his dad. Obviously, he was only a baby. So when I met Bill, after, you know, kind of shaking his hand, oh my God, Mr. President, nice to meet you. I said to him, I'm reading your book at the moment, and you know, I'm reading a bit about your dad, and he seemed to latch on to that moment, you know, and you know, you get seconds, as I said, with this person, but he stood with me for 5 minutes. Well, it felt like an hour.
Talking about his father, or
talking about his dad, and whatever. It wasn't planned by me. It was just one of those things where I seemed to touch a nerve with him, and probably people ask him all the time about, you know, Iraq or wars that maybe he's, you know, had to look over or whatever. But to me, I'd asked him about his dad, and he stood speaking about his dad for a good 5 minutes while photographers are snapping away, and you know, people are going, Mr. President, we need to move on, Mr. But he stayed for that moment, and we met Hillary as well, which was pretty cool.
But your own dad was such a critical influence in your life, particularly music, wasn't he? You know, in the business. I know he had other jobs, but music was a big love. I mean, is that where you got a lot of? Yeah,
my dad was a painter and decorator by trade in the airport hotel for nearly 20 years.
Yeah.
But he was 5-6 nights a week as a born entertainer. He was a lead singer in a band called Nicky and Studs. And he gigged in the racecourse scene, mainly in Baldoyle, and he did weddings and dinner dances. So for me, you know, I was over in the pub with him Saturday mornings, putting up the gear, you know, running around on the dance floor after the glitter ball on the floor and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was my dad was, you know, he was a great dad. He was, I suppose I got on really well with my dad. So did all my friends, so did all my mates. And he was always smiling, a good skin, would do anything for anybody. And yeah, so that's where I was probably, you know, started there really. And he brought me to football training.
And he would have been around for all the Westlife success, really.
Thankfully, yeah, he saw it all, and I think I probably lived his dreams, you know, with music especially, and you know, football a little bit, obviously with Leeds United, but certainly with Westlife and being able to do Croke Park in 2008, and he saw that and all that type of stuff.
And what year did he pass away?
2009.
And can I ask you how he died? Or?
Yeah, he had a heart attack. Yeah, so he was he'd went into work that morning, and I mean, you know, sudden deaths are not nice. And you know, I was flying out that morning. My mum hadn't spoken to him. She called me, and I said, look, I'll get him. You know, Dad would always call you back. And I called him, and his phone rang out, and I got on the plane, and I remember the air hostess we were on Aer Lingus, and I hope Michael's listening. We were on Aer Lingus, and he didn't answer his phone. And I remember the air hostess saying to me, you know, you gotta get off the phone. I was like, 1 second. So one of my best mates who lived in Australia, his brother worked with my dad. Long story short, called him and said, have you seen my dad? Go up and see if you can find him in his office. So he stayed on the phone to me, and he walked up and said, I remember his last words saying, I'm walking into the office now. And then the phone went dead. And I thought, that can't be, you know, a horrible coincidence. And so I literally jumped out of the seat and ran up, and Aer Lingus took the plane. We were taxiing at the time out to the runway, took in, and from then your world falls apart. You know, as you lost your dad, you know, lose any parent is not nice. But my dad was a rock, you know, and that's one of those things, you know, you just have to pick yourself up and move on.
Do you hope that he's kind of looking down at what you're doing now in your next phase of your career, or do you believe in that? Do you believe that he's still around?
I do. Actually, I do. I hope, and I think, you know, it's one of those things that you'd hate to think it, you know, you would never see. I would never see him again. And I do have moments. I mean, there's not a day goes by that I wouldn't think of him. You know, driving over into 2FM every morning, crossing, you know, from the north side to the south side to come over to Donnybrook. I kind of look down the Liffey every day, and I kind of go to myself, that, you know, it's, you know, I have a little kind of moment. And I think, you know, I hope one day that I will see him again. Who knows? You know, I think you have to have that faith. But you have to. I mean, my mum was very young. She was only 55. She was 5 years younger than my dad when he passed away. He was 60, just gone. And yeah, you know, it's tough.